Hello everybody, it's Foo here, and today we're doing another experiment. What I'm going to be testing is whether Alolan Raichu's Z-move benefits from the Sheer Force ability. So Alolan Raichu's Z-move is called Stoked Sparksurfer. It deals a lot of damage and it always paralyzes the opponent. But the Sheer Force ability, what it does is it takes away added effects and gives the moves a boost. So if Alolan Raichu gets Sheer Force, does that mean that its Z-move will no longer paralyze the opponent, but it will do more damage? Well, let's find out. So what I'm going to do first of all is just go for Alolan Raichu's Z-move right now against my Mushroom, the Shiinotic, and we'll see how much damage it does, and then I'll reload the battle, give my Alolan Raichu Sheer Force, and we will see if that does any more damage to my Shiinotic and whether it still paralyzes or not. So let's try this out. Let's go straight for that Z move, Stoked Sparksurfer on my Mushroom, and we will go for a scratch against my other Kecleon. So let's see how much damage this will do. I don't think it will do too much because Shiinotic has pretty good special defense. And this is my in-game Shiinotic. I use it in my playthrough. I think it's a really cool Pokemon. It's just got a few things that its stat total is quite low really, and it doesn't always take hits very well. But here is the really cool animation. Hopefully YouTube will let me show it all, but sometimes it doesn't let me show it all because Nintendo don't like us seeing things. Anyway, so there's the Z move and there's the paralysis. You can see it always paralyzes. So what I'm going to see now is I'll reload this. If I skill swap onto Alolan Raichu, the Sheer Force ability, we will see if it then does more damage. So how much damage has it done now? I think it was, 46 damage? 46 damage. So with Sheer Force, it will be doing over 55 damage, basically. It will be doing over 55 damage. So we'll see if that works or not. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've got it all set up. What I'm going to do is lead with my Kecleon on my Rufflet on the other side, and Kecleon has skill swap, so it will skill swap the Sheer Force off Rufflet and then onto Alolan Raichu so that it can gain that ability and we can see whether it affects its Z move or not. It would be really neat if Raichu had this ability because it gets loads of moves that would benefit from it. Just its Thunderbolt and Psychic would do a ton more damage if it got the Sheer Force ability. Having said that, the ability that it has at the moment, Surge Surfer, is that right? I think it's Surge Surfer, can be really handy in doubles when you've got electric terrain set up. But anyway, let's get on with this experiment, and I'll just go for some random moves with these guys, and I will go for the skill swap onto my Rufflet to get that Sheer Force ability, and I will go for a I guess just a peck onto my Kecleon on this side because I don't want to damage anything on the opposing side. I don't want to reduce defenses or anything. And Kecleon becomes Psychic type as it goes for the skill swap, and then loses the skill swap ability, so it will stay Psychic type. And then, yeah, so what I'll do next turn is bring in Alolan Raichu in the Rufflet side as I skill swap so that Alolan Raichu will get the Sheer Force. So let us try this. I'm going to Strength Zap the Kecleon, just go for a Recover. I'm going to skill swap the Rufflet side, and I'm going to switch out into my Raichu. So this should end up with Raichu having the Sheer Force ability, and it can then go for its Z move against Mushroom, and we will see if it does more damage. Now it needs to do significantly more damage than 46 HP. So I think it'll have to do sort of pushing 60 HP worth of damage for the Sheer Force to be taking effect. So let's see if that is what happens. So I'll just go for some moves here, and we'll go for that Stoked Sparksurfer on my Mushroom, and just go for some other things that don't target my Raichu because we don't want to mess anything up. So here we go. Here is the Z move again. Let us find out if it still paralyzes my Mushroom and if it does any more damage or not. Yeah, basically Sheer Force would be so good for Alolan Raichu to have. It's already really cool, and it's probably better than normal Raichu. Despite normal Raichu having Lightning Rod, which is a very good ability, but because it has slightly more special attack and another stab move for an offensive Pokemon, that's really good. That definitely does more damage. So that did 50 damage, and it didn't paralyze. That's the main thing to see. It will always paralyze if the sheer force, if basically Stoked Sparksurfer always paralyzes unless the sheer force was happening there. So there you go. Like sheer force Alolan Raichu, that would be a really cool Pokemon to see. And yeah, it would be pretty powerful. It would be really neat. So that's going to be all for today. I've been Fufu, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.